the first thing is I have to use CMS because the other parts of the website of the university were not using any CMS. They were all coding in HTML. You know, it's 21st century, but they still were using HTML, and they are still using it at the moment. They are still using it for the Faculty of Law. My work is only inside in the Department of Research Centers, but for the faculty, they are still writing HTML. So I said, first, we have to have a CMS. First thing. Second, of course, this is people working for law, or maybe economics and management are a little more involved in computer using. But the law people, which is the vast majority of our researchers, they have really difficulty to read their mails. So a CMS had also, okay, a CMS, but it had to be really easy to use. That's the second. And third, I had to comply to some habits of the profession and some habits that are coming, some standards that are coming. For example, Open Archive Initiative. I don't know if you know that. It's about exposing your works. When you publish papers, research papers on the web, you want them to be available as paper as they are on their URLs, but also you would like them to be aggregated from other places in the world if possible, because you know that research is very international stuff. So there is a tool called Open Archive Initiative which exposes some metadata. Do you want me to explain what this is about? Metadata? It's data. It's things about data. So I mean, title, author, publisher, date. All these are called metadata, and it's very useful to expose them in a standard way, so that some other application will come and harvest them. It is the name, harvest, to aggregate them on other websites. Well, in fact, we are not using it now because I have not been asked to publish papers, because the law people still publish in paper reviews, because if they don't publish in the paper reviews, they don't get the curricula, valid curricula, because the reviews forbid them to publish in electronic modes. So it's a very complicated thing, but still I had to make them able to do it if they want it. I suppose it will come. So it was an element for me to choosing this tool, which is called Lodel, has been developed in Marseille, which had all these requirements met. Marseille, it's developed in Marseille, la Maison des Sciences de l'Homme, the House for Human Science, in Marseille, south of France. They use it, they developed it for a website called revue.org, which is, oh, I need two hands. So this is a website which publishes many, many reviews in humanities. You see, not only French ones, mostly, but not only. You see what all they do. It's a big success, and they do that's why they developed Lodel at first. It has been used as a blogging system, but of course now as a blogging system it's not the easiest to use. Yet Lodel is very simple to install. This is something I must point. There is a web installer, it's easy. And as it is a specialized tool, it is not like Drupal or typo 3, which are very rich in combinations, in possibilities. It's not so rich, it's specialized, but that's the advantage is that you get at once a usable environment. You don't have to tweak the configuration for days, which normally you have with the general CMS. So I want to show you what I have done with that. So this is the homepage of my research department, where I work. More than one rubric, of course. This is the search centers. This is a normal page. By the way, you can find the contacts if you want after that. And here is the page. Don't worry, here on the top, because I have logged in to be able to show you. I will I am disconnected from the administration interface. I was where I was. So you see the page the way it is on the web, and here I have a page for conferences. So I have announced seminars and conferences. This is specialist conferences in some tracks, some educational sessions. It's master sessions. They have their own conferences, and this is a page for them with the titles, everything. And automatically, when something is not in the future, not in the future, but now in the past, it goes down into the bottom of the page. If you want to see how it is now this is the administration interface. And if I go to this directory for conferences, I have all these conferences, past and future. And if you go to edit one, you get something that at least that low people will not open a new one. They will not create a new conference because it's too difficult for them. But at least they can go and check it. They can, if there is something somewhere, a mistake, if I have written a 2S instead of 1 somewhere, at least they can go and fix it. And if the date has changed, they can change the date themselves. I hope that in a few years they will be able to add one. Well, some do it anyway, but you see, it's supposed to be easy to do, really easy. Another example is inside the master. This one is a master. DPC. Hope I have it wrong. No, P. There is a P. P Sud. Well, another example is the master for patrimony. Cultural patrimony, is that correct, I think? It's the law of museum collections. It's related to author rights and all the rights you have to when you deal with historic and artistic works of the past. It's patrimonial rights, but for the art, for the cultural patrimony, I'm not sure that the English words I say are the right translation. But do you understand what it is, or shall I explain better? And so there are. This is the curriculum. This is the thesis with the name and title. There's no more at the moment, and the research and curriculum in detail. You see, there is a structure. The first semester is split in 3 units, U1, U2, U3, and every unit is split in 2 or 3 courses, in fact. So there is a structure behind that, and you understand that the CMS needs to be able to deal with different structures, because this is a structure for the master, but the one you have seen for the conferences, it is different. The one you have seen for the thesis is also different. So I had to create these structures, which is called an editorial model in Lodel language. So I think I just stop for the description and ask for your question at that point before I get into more technical stuff.
There was documents in Word or whatever that was the basis of this page?
Oh, this I have done it. I have copied and pasted. No, there was not a Word document. In fact, Lodel is able to import Word documents if they are styled the right way, of course, because you cannot do anything if not styled. So this is a requirement that is, in fact, impossible to meet. They cannot imagine that they could give their students in thesis or in master a template for them to write their paper in the right way, right at the beginning. They cannot, it's not possible. It's culturally very far. So maybe it will happen someday. And I see it's not only in the law faculty, but all over France, even in scientific departments, it's something really, I don't know when it was happened. It's so simple when you think about it, but not for them. So it has to be styled. If you hire somebody to style it afterwards, this is not economically possible. So you cannot hire somebody just to style documents. It's university don't have that money for that. So don't think about it also. So in fact, there is only one possibility is to put the PDF in online when you get to have one. Because as I said, for the law departments, they usually don't want to publish their papers because they want to have them published in a paper review. And this paper review will not like them to publish them electronically even after that. They don't want. It's just it's like there's law, there is medicine. It's two groups of people who really have their own way of living, and maybe one day they will meet the rest of the world. I think they will, because they have to, but they will be the last, the last of all. Yeah. Oh, it's stuff for tomorrow, but I can say, if you're not interested in the technical part, if you want to go out, and so I say it now. But maybe it's better to wait when I have finished, if you can stay. The second thing I can say about my experience about importing documents, that I have had kilograms, tons of Word documents to try to import. And I have done a lot of work. I have done 2 months full-time, almost that, for importing some 1,000 documents automatically, because I had to try to find a structure somewhere. So I look very carefully. I take glasses like that. Really, it's I get ache in my eyes for days to find the structure. And once I have found a structure, I import them automatically and I show them. And of course, there is about 95% of their structure, but they point the 5% remaining and say it's all rubbish. We can't use that. So I warn you, if you want to do that, be prepared. Shall I?
Is it also in English? Because I saw, or in other languages. In French.
What the web page or the system? The administration system is supposed to exist in English. There is all necessary things to be done, but only some messages have been actually translated, because that's the problem. Yes, that's one of the points of me speaking now. It's not mainly that I want to show my work at the university. It's that I think some, in general, if I go out of the context here, I think that in general there are many applications developed in France that are not well known outside. And I think it is a shared responsibility, to say the least. The French never rarely take the effort to write in English. So, of course, we are the first responsible people. But on the other side, people outside France sometimes are a little too impatient. If they find that the homepage is only in French, they won't go further. Sometimes there is some documentation somewhere. Sometimes there is a code they could have a look at. Sometimes they could ask questions in English and they could get answers. Sometimes they could take 2 hours to translate 50% of the software. Things like that. They tend not to say that, oh, this French, they all write in French. And if, in fact, it's true, the French they're not good at languages. It's like the English, it's for the same reasons. Why the English are not good at languages? Because everybody in the world is all supposed to understand their language, English. For the French, it's the same 2 centuries behind. It was the same in the 18th century, so we have bad habits, that's true. But it's not sufficient reason to ignore what has been done by a country which is rather big and with a rather high academic level in general. So Lodel is an example. There are some more I wanted to show you in case you don't know them. .clear. That's a very typical example. It's only in French and it's bad documented. But if you do the effort and download the code, you will see that the code is so clear, you can, if you are a little PHP developer, you can understand what it's doing and just reading the code. So you don't even need a documentation in that case. And if you ask questions in English, you will get answers, because the people do understand English. They only don't have time because they are not many, and it's a question of hen and egg, you know. If some from other countries would come, then that would make 2 or 3 more people and the ability to write in English.
Can you explain shortly what it is?
It's a blogging software, like WordPress, but with much better code. It's small code, it's plug-in. There is a version 2. It's still beta, but it's working very well. I use it for offset. And well, there is a plan. For example, there is a Planet plugin, which is very useful, of course, you have to have it. And it's not working very well because they don't have time to finish it. So it's beta, but most of it is working very well. And it's very modular. It's very good blogging software, very good, with many skins also, many nice skins. And another example is PIP. PIP. Ah, you see, this is in Dutch. Because PIP is internationalized, but in spite of the fact that you see all these languages for the software, for the documentation, in spite of that, I guess, how many people here know about PIP? Oh, good. It was one of the first. It's a kind of blogging, but it's one of the first CMS that existed, in fact. It has been developed for the Monde Diplomatique. Diplomatic, Le Monde is a very well-known newspaper, and the Monde Diplomatique is the edition for politics, international politics. So SPIP is a very good CMS, and it's used in for example, it has good extensions for scientific writing. So it's very, very good for newspapers, and it's very good for scientific research centers. It's good to know. I don't use SPIP, but SPIP has been the base for many other software. For wikis and SPIP had two different sentences. The syntax is a little different, but not very much. And both these things inspired all these wave of CMSs we have had. And Lodel uses the wiki, I don't know, I don't remember if it is wiki or, it's not very different anyway, SPIP and wiki, the syntax. Can show you what it's for. I have to find a wiki one. No, this HTML. Again. Let's see. Oh, so I will go to the curriculum details. You see how it is structured inside. So I've got inside the directory curriculum. If I go there, I can just edit the page. And here I have the wiki syntax as it is in Lodel, for example. That's an example. And if I go to the inside the directory, instead of clicking on edit, I go inside the directory, and so I have access to the objects that are stored inside the directory. So my units, U1, U2, and if I go inside U1, I get to the courses. I have hidden fields like this one. This one is not displayed. It's internal code for the course, university code. And I can add a second teacher for the same. other fields that can be displayed or not. There is a scripting language for templating the display, object by object. This is an identifier so that you can have nice URLs, not only numbers. And if you want to see, I can have my people. Here or here, this. I can have my people. On the bottom, I have the page related to the people, and I can add descriptions. Of course, there is a search. There is a search engine which uses keyword searching on every text field, and also keywords you will add yourself as relevant. There is a list of you can manage a list of specific keywords, a thesaurus or something like that. Control vocabulary of your keywords you want to attach to your pages. You can have a hierarchy of relevance. You can decide that the title counts for 8, while the text inside counts for 1. And you can index by author and by person. All the persons have entries. I have entered for one research center, I have entered some 3,000 keywords in their list, but it was a little too much for the Lodel interface, in fact, but it works. And now I get into the structure. There's two things I have to explain now. It's the structure, how you create your objects. And the second is how you write the template, so the display. I start with the structure. You have here your entities. Inside the database is well done. There is they call them entities. It's everything except the persons. Persons are apart, and everything else, every publishable object is an entity. And there is an entity, and there is a type of entity, and then you go to another table to have the list. Because if you create a new type, you create a new table, but it's still an entity. And there is a rank. Also, you can display them in some order. It's really well thought about. It's not new. It has been done before 2000. This is my types. So units are here. Fields for the units. Text, number, label, credits for European Union, and which semester they are in. And inside you have the course. The course has a teacher, for example, and an identifier in the university system, a label, a coefficient for the final exam, how many hours in the year, and description. And here you have types, because you can have more than one type of an object. And the interesting thing is that you can, one of the interesting things, this is template files, so you can specify different template files for different types of objects. You can have the same, you just put the same name, or you can have different templates for different objects and different types of objects. And also I specified that this course type has to be inside a unit of teaching, unité d'enseignement. So you cannot accidentally enter a course somewhere else and forget where it is, for example. So when you come to create it, you have in the menu, it appears where it is allowed to appear and not elsewhere. So it's better because you know what you are doing and the users know what they can do, and it's clear. So far for the objects, I can create one more. I can create one more. And with an identifier, I can, once it's created, I can modify it. I can edit the fields. I can add a group of fields. You see, you can notice all these small labels that have not even been specified in French. So as a result, it's useful for the people who speak English because it's in English. So you can add a group, you can add a field to that group, you can, with these arrows, you can have it down or up. It's well done, I think. So with the structure, and now the templates, I will go to the Lodel website, because there is something about that which is well made too. It's in French. Here, if you get your users to style documents, Word documents, here you have some templates to use. And this is what they call Lodel script. So you have variables. Oh. Variables, here the title, so you get the title. This is the syntax for the attribute replacement. You have a possibility of multilingual fields. Can be you can define inside the code, you can define the value. It's useful when you have loops. You will see we have loops, and if you define the value before the loops start, you can use it inside your loop. It's a question of namespace, and you have if, else. Syntax for conditions. Loops are very well done. In general, it's a little complicated. The Lodel script is. I don't have practiced other CMSs so much that I can say that this one is better. This one on the scripting. It's so difficult to have a good scripting language for this purpose. Anyway, templating is one of the... personally, what I like the best is the TAL from Zope, but it's not easy anyway. And this one is easier than TAL to learn, in fact, for the users, for the library webmasters. TAL is not easy. This one will be easier. So. Loops are very well done because you have the do, you have the do first, you have the do before, you have the do after, you have the do last. You can combine them and have a good well, can't find my words. Sometimes I get to have 3 loops inside, 3 nested loops, so it's not really easy to read. If I had more time, I would write, you can write your loop in the code also, and use it after that. You can call a loop of yourself, or a function of yourself. There are filters for the text. There is a filter which is the wiki filter. There is filters like uppercase, lowercase things, and you can create your filters. I have created many, and well, see if there is something. What should I say more? The history of the software has been created by Ghislain Picard. That was in the 20th century. So this boy has done very nice work. I don't think I have very much more to say on the technical thing, so I am ready for your questions, and afterwards we should have at least 5 minutes to speak about offset. Yes? Yeah. Yes. Yes, of course. If you're in your template, you position identifiers like class, TD class equal thesis, and then you, in your style sheet, you refer to these identifiers, and then you can put as many styles as you want, just like any website. The HTML is produced by the Lodel script templates, but the Lodel script templates do not overlap on style sheet business. So about Lodel, there is something you should, if you're interested. There is a well, no. I can conclude on Lodel, or I can talk about offset, but Lodel is worth it. So I had prepared a page for contacts. So in my forgotten slides, yeah. Oh yes, here there is an open office stylist. So you also have templates for open office. In Lodel, there is a servo. This is a pun. Cerveau means brain in French, and it means the server will transform your documents, Word or OpenOffice, into HTML, into Lodel pages. It's compliant. It's very compliant with Dublin Core. It's very, very deeply compliant because you can associate, when you create an object, you can associate an attribute to a Dublin Core attribute. So when you create it, you know that it will be. There is RSS and Atom. There is Open Archive Initiative. You see the interface was nice. This is the name of the first developer, Ghislain Picard. And this is the address of the place where it is developed now. This is an example of loop and conditions. Okay. Filters. You can have separate databases for separate sites, for a separate website. Also, when you create a website, because I'm managing 10 websites but with the same Lodel installation, so you create a website is also very, very easy. You just have to specify the URL, the physical position of the directory on the disk, and then you decide if the site is published or not yet published, and so things like that. You can decide if you want a separate database. So this is what I wanted, my contact page. If you want to use it, if you want to extend, translate, or integrate, you will find the code on source sup. Source. Sup is like superior for the university, the educational level. And my address at work is here. So apparently you had no more question on Lodel, although you can have more after that if you want. So Maybe I will let this and I will talk about offset now. So tomorrow I will talk mostly of my software called GNU Edu, which is about educational resources. And Offset is an international association for developing and advocating educational application, educational desktop. We have made things like Dr. Géo, J'ai compris, which is very well known, Friduc CD, Friduc for the primary, Friduc Science. I recommend you to, if you are in science, if you are interested in physics or mathematics, statistics, or geography, you can download an image, an ISO image of the CD Friduc Science. You will find it, Friduc Science, offset in case, but you will find it. And it's very good because not only you have a desktop which is very adapted to the situation of the students. It's really, Friduc is adapted to the situation at school. You will find a lot of CDs, live CDs all over for children at home or for children after school or things like that. But the one with the idea is to have a desktop which is clean and pure, so that the students do not click everywhere. They only have what they have to have, and it's good for sparing time in the class, and also concentrating in the mind. And Friduc Sciences, not only it has all these applications on a very nice, not very nice, but very pure desktop, not necessarily very nice, it's nice, and documentation and things like that, and well-chosen applications. But also you have that there, a very new, rather new thing when you're rather innovative, which is a whole free chain of physical data acquisition. Free hardware, free data acquisition, extraction, and free treatment. So you see, and we have tested, there is documentation about that on the Offset Wiki, which is community.offset.org. We also have different things like Dr. Géo is geometry dynamic software. Like Colatinus, very good Latin applications. The one who like Latin, anybody interested in Latin? No? Okay. But it's very good for the one who like. It's really very, very good. Only in French, that's the problem, but one day somebody will find it and translate. And there is DRBR Clonezilla, which is developed inside Offset also. It's a mass cloning system for deploying classrooms with computers. There is GNU Edu, I will talk tomorrow. I don't know if I forget something. No, Squeak. There is a big Squeak community around Offset. It's French-speaking community, I must say. But all the results are really easy to see because it's mostly images, animations. Squeak is very powerful to make multimedia educative material. If you want to join us, it's www.offset with one F, not like the printer.org. And the wiki is community.offset.org. There is a blog offset.org with notes in Chinese, English, Spanish, French, and more. And we have my speeches are on speeches.offset.org. And there are lists, mailing lists on lists.offset.org. So.
The Lodel, is it modular that more things can be added afterwards, or is it just one package, that's it?
Lodel. No, it's one package. You can add editorial models. there is an editorial model for revue.org, and I have not published, but I could send you my editorial model, or one of mine. It's the structure, the object structure. It's one packet. You use it, you launch it. It's on MySQL PHP. It's not very configurable, but very easy to use. Back at offset. It's an association, French-based, legally French-based, with a president, a treasurer, and a secretary, and 200 people in it. Most of them are not very active. We would like to have more. We have no Dutch. We have German. We have English. We have Spanish. We don't have Dutch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But are things like that done or possible?
We have cooperations with Scholar Linux, for example. We have cooperation with some logs. We cooperate also on a political level with April in France. And we await such cooperations on other countries. We do not want to be included in any of these, nor do we want to include any. We could include members who could be part. I am myself part of more than one association. When I say association in French, it means not for profit, and in fact we do not make money. We could make money in some future, because it's beginning to be very. It's not forbidden to make money. What is forbidden is to redistribute the money among the members. But the association can make money. Thank you.